Penguin Random House Audio presents The Black Period on Personhood, Race, and Origin. This is the author, Hafizah Augustus Geter. For Brandon and Connor Moore. I mean to tell you that everywhere I go, I hear us singing to each other. Aracelis Garamai. This can still happen anywhere. Not everything is lost. Naomi Shihabnai. In the beginning. What does my name mean? I loved asking my mother. With a seriousness that opened her face, she'd reply, protector, watcher, guardian, memory. It is an ancient name, derived from the 7th century Arabic word Hafiz, one who memorized all 80,000 words of the Quran. Later, Hafiz was a 14th century Persian poet, a guardian of memory, who wrote about hypocrisies, fear, and the moon. I took my mother seriously from the start. For her, for me, for all of us, I wanted to be memory, protector, and the protector of memories. I spent my childhood watching my father remake us into charcoal, oil, and pencil. I wanted to preserve something I loved like that. He taught me the mirror trick for drawing faces. I held the world I'd drawn up to a mirror, and by that small shift in looking, what I'd drawn was new, full of miscalculations, an eye too low, the mouth too crooked. It quaked something in the soft part of me to know what was there to see was seldom what the bare eye saw. It's okay, my father told me. There was always time for starting over or revision. Like him, I wanted to be an accurate witness. There was as much to guard as there was to see. For a time, whatever image America tried to draw of me and the world, my mother's stories and presence, and my father's art were there to correct. My father is still like this, a man trying to hold up a promise made to his dead wife, to set their children's world right. When did I put my parents' lessons down? My therapist, who is a Black woman, had me look up dissociation. Dr. Lamb has heard me say more than once how, after my mother died, I was 19, and my father so stunned that 6 weeks later he needed a triple bypass. My world picked up a tornado's wind. Having seen how the world's vision of me was marred with anti-Blackness and homophobia, instead I took up the work of self-surveillance. How American to mistake policing for protection, to confuse the hunter for a guardian. With my mother gone and my father, quite literally, heartsick, there was no one to correct the story. My mirror shattered. I stood with my hands up in the eye of the storm. There are years I barely remember, so deeply entrenched was I in grief and shame's blackout. There are years I can tell you exactly where the tornado blew every single thing. Years I forgot the meaning of my name. There were years it felt like I had no body. Years so angry it felt like I had no heart. Lost in grief, I'd lost track of what my parents had taught me about myself. Instead, I swallowed America's messages. In Dr. Lamb's naming, I began to draw a map out. I saw the Patriot Act and 9/11 as being knotted up with my difficulty, grieving my Nigerian and Muslim mother. I saw anti-Blackness and Islamophobia laying the building blocks for my young terror over everything, including my own queerness. I understood the shame I carried over my chronic pain and my family's ailing bodies as state-designed. After all that, there was still more to know. How had climate change become another one of America's tools, catalyzing Black and brown death? Was it my colonizer's tongue that was poisoning me? Was it the darkness that surrounds a queer woman before she's opened her closet? I'd lost the thread to my own story. By the time the immigration detention centers were flooding the news in early 2016, I could see clearly that what history had unleashed on Black people was being used as a roadmap to harm others, and what was I supposed to do about that? What did I owe non-Black oppressed people? And what did it mean to want love from a nation built on someone else's erasure, on genocide, on stolen land? I felt complicity for what I'd been forced to inhabit, and for what I'd gotten too comfortable with to disavow. Why do I have this mouthful of grief for people I'll never know, never meet? I roamed like a zombie from physical therapy to my chiropractor's office to pain management centers. My body was constantly seeping with pain. I didn't know what to do with all my compounding hurts, but understood the stress of America had latched itself to the wound. More than anything, I wanted to know, how long is history? And how long would I have to be responsible for it? I needed healing, and in every beginning found the violences of history. I looked and looked and looked at Black people until what I'd forgotten about us began to come back. I expected each violence unearthed to be a new wound. But no. History uncovered was my mind's salve. I was trying to emerge from erasure. Suddenly, I was standing at the cliff of my own life, remembering. White America had palimpsested itself over us, but scraped the picture back with one of my father's palette knives, and the world became splashed in colors once again. When I got to what I thought was my beginning, I had to go even further back. We, too, were a palimpsest, written over someone else's origin story, someone else's land. There was a two-stranded twist where Black and Indigenous life wrapped around each other. There was a liminal space where our ancestors were obligated to each other, and where we were kin. My work was to find it. I'd know I'd arrived because there, our responsibilities to each other would be recognized as our good fortune. I had to go back, and then I had to go even further back again, until I'd gone so far I ended up at time's beginning. There I saw. I'd been living inside the story begotten by white America, but I'd been born into something else. What was it? To find it, first I'd have to name it. I was doubling back for what I'd lost, forgotten. I found that what haunted me was the rest of the story. The stories America intentionally forgot, obscured, mistold, hid. I took one step backwards, then another, preparing for each step to feel like quicksand. I knew a beginning was more than a starting point. It was a course of action. From Earth's 4.5 billion year history, I knew a beginning could be the longest road ever towed. Theologians of the earth, geologists understand time and history in millions and billions of years and through the formation and changing of the earth's rocks. They give time its own unique monikers, eons, eras, periods, epochs, ages. But my favorite thing about geology has always been how it makes time physical. Geology insists that time and history are matters of space, place. We know the Grand Canyon is 6 million years old because its Precambrian rocks tell us so. Hadn't I always been obsessed with time? In elementary school, one of my favorite stories was The Land Before Time. A group of trembling young dinosaurs flee famine, survive drought, earthquakes, a mother's death, though the dead mother's voice remains as a ghost in the ether. Her vestige guides them to safety and an oasis known as the Great Valley, which gapes back at them with still 59 million years to go before the Grand Canyon is born. Their worlds have ended. Their mother, their origin story, is gone. Their hand forced, they must begin something else.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?